The light from the phone screen is the only thing illuminating Maya's face in her dark Brooklyn apartment. It's 11:37 p.m. on a Tuesday, and the city that never sleeps is just a distant hum through her double-paned windows. Her thumb moves on autopilot. Swipe down to refresh. Nothing. Tap over to Instagram. His profile picture, a slightly blurry shot of him hiking some upstate trail last fall, smiles back at her. No new story. Back to the texts. The last message in the thread is from him, sent 3 days ago on Saturday night. So sorry, swamped with work stuff this weekend. This week is looking crazy. Let's try for next. She'd replied with a single and a heart emoji. The cool blue light of the phone makes her skin look pale. She can feel the weight of the silence in the room. A silence that's somehow louder than the sirens on Flatbush Avenue. This is the 4th Wednesday in a row she spent like this. Curled on her gray sectional sofa, wrapped in a cashmere blanket that feels nice but offers no real warmth, waiting for a digital ghost. His name is David. They've been seeing each other for 4 months and 1 week. They've had dinners at trendy spots in the West Village, seen indie films at the Angelica, spent a whole rainy Sunday in his Williamsburg loft. He calls her Maya Bear, a nickname she pretended to hate but secretly loved. He knows she is afraid of pigeons and that she takes her coffee with oat milk and 1 sugar. She knows he reads biographies of old jazz musicians and has a weird allergy to kiwi. And yet, if she tried to define what they were to a friend, her throat would tighten. He's not her boyfriend. She's not his girlfriend. They are a collection of shared moments and intimate secrets floating in a jar labeled It's Complicated. She is a senior project manager at a green tech startup. She can run a meeting with investors. She can negotiate a contract. She can build a quarterly forecast that actually makes sense. But she cannot decipher the meaning of a man who kisses her like she's the only person in the world, but can plan a date more than 3 days in advance. Her phone pings. Her heart does that ridiculous, hopeful little jump. It's a Slack notification from work. A colleague asking about a deadline. The disappointment is a physical thing, a cold stone dropping into her stomach. She closes her eyes and listens to the sounds of her own life, the soft whir of the refrigerator, the drip of the kitchen faucet she's been meaning to fix, the lonely echo of her own breathing in a 1-bedroom apartment that costs $3,400 a month. This is the reality for so many of us, isn't it? Especially here in cities like New York or LA or Chicago. We've built these amazing, competent lives on the outside. Our LinkedIn profiles are polished. Our apartments are decorated straight out of a design magazine. We have favorite wine bars and go to spin class and have opinions on the best new restaurant. We are, by all accounts, adults who have our stuff together. But then there's this one area, this one person, this situationship. It's a word that didn't exist a decade ago, but now it describes the emotional purgatory for nearly half of single people in their 30s. It's more than a fling, but less than a relationship. It has all the emotional weight of a partnership, but none of the security. You find yourself planning your weekends around a maybe. You decline a trip with friends because he mentioned maybe wanting to hang out that Saturday. Your group chat has heard his name so many times, they've started a frustrated bingo card. He's busy with work as the free space. Let's be real for a second. What's the actual cost of the person you're waiting for? I'm not talking about the money for the dinners or the Ubers. Let's add up the invisible tax, the mental real estate, the constant low-grade anxiety of checking your phone, the declined invitations to things you actually wanted to do just in case he becomes available, the emotional energy you're spending, the interest you're paying on a connection that gives you zero return on investment. It's like having a second, exhausting, unpaid job where your boss only texts you after 10 p.m. I want you to picture it. The visual cues are so specific, they sting. The 3 blinking dots that appear and then disappear without a message. The way you delete and retype a text 7 times before sending something perfectly, painfully casual. Hey, saw this meme and thought of you? You refresh their Instagram story for the 5th time in an hour, watching the view count go up, hoping for a clue. And then the gut punch. You see they've been tagged in a photo. It's at a bar in the Lower East Side. They're with a group of friends, smiling, a beer in hand. And you weren't invited. You were home, waiting, the air just leaves the room. You tell yourself a story to make it okay. You say you're keeping it chill. You say you're seeing where it goes. You say you're focusing on your career right now anyway. And maybe some of that is true. But there's a deeper lie hiding underneath all that. A quiet little whisper in the back of your mind that keeps you stuck. The lie is this, that this vague, confusing, half-present connection is better than the alternative. That it's better than the risk of being truly, honestly, openly alone. That this crumbs of attention are better than an empty table. We convince ourselves that uncertainty is sophisticated when really it's just painful. And here's a fact that might surprise you. A major study in 2024 found that the average urban situationship lasts about 5 months. 5 months. That's longer than a lot of official, defined relationships. We are spending almost half a year in emotional limbo, trying to read signals like they're tea leaves, hoping for a sign that never comes. So, if you're sitting there in your own version of Maya's apartment, feeling that familiar hollow ache in your chest as you stare at a silent phone, I want you to ask yourself one question. It's not a comfortable question, but it's the most important one. What are you really getting from this? And what is it costing you to stay? Because the first step to leaving anywhere is admitting you're already in the waiting room and the door out. It's not locked. You just have to be brave enough to walk through it into the quiet, unknown, and incredibly powerful space of your own freedom. That freedom doesn't start with a dramatic breakup text. It starts right here, in this quiet moment of recognition. It starts with you. Okay, so you've had the wake-up call. You're staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., and you've admitted it to yourself. This situationship thing isn't working. It hurts, but here's where most people get stuck. They think the problem is the other person. If only he would commit. If only she would communicate better. If only they'd change, then everything would be perfect. We beat ourselves up, thinking we're failing at dating because we're not pretty enough, successful enough, or chill enough. We think it's a personal flaw, a kind of laziness in love. But I'm here to tell you that's completely wrong. The real villain isn't laziness. It's not even them. It's something much sneakier. And it's a mindset that our entire lifestyle in places like New York, San Francisco, or Miami has trained us to believe is smart. Let me tell you about a guy I know. We'll call him Alex. Alex is 34, works in private equity in Manhattan. His life is a series of optimized systems. He uses an app to order his weekly meal prep lunches. He has a color-coded calendar that tells him when to work out, and when to do his personal admin. He lives in a sleek, modern high-rise in Long Island City with a view of the skyline. Everything in his life is managed for maximum efficiency and minimum risk. About 8 months ago, Alex started seeing a woman named Chloe, a PhD student at Columbia. It was perfect in his mind. They'd see each other every other Saturday night. They'd have great conversation, great chemistry. There was no drama, no meeting the parents, no complicated future talks. If his work ramped up, he'd just text her, "Swamped this week, catch you next," and that was that. When his friends asked about her, he'd say, "It's cool, it's easy, it's efficient." He sounded like he was describing a new investment strategy, and in a way he was. See, Alex had unconsciously started to view romance the same way he viewed his financial portfolio. Diversify, hedge your bets, avoid volatile, high-risk assets. A full relationship? That was a huge massive potential upside, but also catastrophic potential downside. A situationship was like a safe, flexible ETF. It gave him the feeling of being in the market without the scary commitment. His hidden belief, the one he'd never say out loud, was this having a low-stakes option is a form of smart risk management in a chaotic dating market. He wasn't being a jerk. He genuinely thought this was the mature, sophisticated way to handle things in a fast-paced world. The problem was, Chloe was a human being, not a stock ticker. And after 8 months, she was exhausted, feeling like she was constantly auditioning for a role that had no job description. Think about your own life for a second. You probably optimize everything. You track your sleep on a Fitbit. You listen to podcasts at 1.5x speed to learn faster. You scroll through dating apps on your subway commute, trying to maximize your opportunities. Our brains have been trained to seek the most reward for the least possible investment. We want the 5-star review, the fastest delivery, the most streamlined process. So when we meet someone and feel a spark, our optimized brain kicks in. Whoa, this feels big. This feels risky. Let's not go all in. Let's keep this casual. Let's see where it goes. We think we're being prudent. We're being careful. We're protecting ourselves. We put the person in a box labeled fun for now because the box labeled future feels terrifying. It's the one thing we can't control, can't spreadsheet, can't predict the ROI on. I want you to picture this trap. It doesn't look like a dark dungeon. It looks beautiful. It looks like a perfectly curated Instagram feed. It looks like a stylish, minimalist apartment where everything has its place. It sounds like the polite, careful conversations you have. No, it's totally fine, you canceled. It feels like the subtle anxiety of knowing you like someone more than they like you, but you're playing it so cool you're practically frozen. Imagine a beautiful, healthy plant. Let's say a monstera with those big, gorgeous leaves. It's sitting in your sunny apartment, but it's been in the same decorative pot for 2 years. It looks okay from the top, but underneath the soil, the roots have grown in circles. They've run out of room. They're choking themselves, they're root-bound. That plant is you in a situationship. You have all this potential for growth, all this life, but you're stuck in a container that's too small, too defined by its limits. You can't get bigger or taller. You can only become more tangled.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're re-diving into a topic that so many of us have struggled with in modern dating. The identity trap. You know what I'm talking about. You meet someone, the connection is amazing, and before you know it, your world starts to revolve around them. You find yourself checking your phone constantly, overthinking every text, and maybe even changing your hobbies or interests to align more with theirs. This isn't just about having a crush. It's about losing a piece of yourself in the process, especially when you're stuck in that confusing gray area of a situationship. So, how do we navigate the excitement of a new connection without falling into this trap? Let's get into it. So, why are we so prone to this? It often stems from a fear of being alone or a deep-seated need for validation. We might think, if this amazing person likes me, then I must be worthy. We start performing, trying to be the person we think they want us to be, rather than just being ourselves. We might downplay our passions because they don't seem cool enough, or we might say yes to things we don't actually enjoy, just to seem more agreeable. The problem is, this is an unsustainable act. You can't pretend to be someone else forever. All right, so we know what the trap is and why it happens. Now for the most important part, how do we get out of it? Or better yet, avoid it completely. The key is to build what I call an unshakable self-foundation. This isn't about being closed off or refusing to be vulnerable. It's about being so rooted in who you are that someone else's presence in your life becomes a wonderful addition, not the entire structure. The third and perhaps most crucial pillar is practicing self-awareness and setting boundaries. This requires you to check in with yourself regularly. How are you really feeling? Are you anxious? Excited? Drained? Be honest with yourself. If you notice you're spending hours analyzing a text message, it's a sign to disengage and redirect your energy. This is where boundaries come in. A boundary isn't a wall. It's a guide for how you want to be treated and how you manage your own energy. For example, a boundary could be deciding not to answer texts after 10 p.m. to protect your peace. So, my challenge for you this week is to pick one area to focus on. Is it reinvesting in a hobby you let go of? Is it scheduling a non-negotiable weekly friend night? Or is it finally setting that boundary you've been avoiding? Take one small step to reclaim your identity and build your unshakable foundation. You are the main character of your own life. Don't ever give that role away to someone who is only willing to be a guest star. You deserve to have a life that is full and exciting, with or without a partner. And ironically, the more you build that life for yourself, the more likely you are to attract the right person to share it with. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you've ever felt caught in the identity trap, I'd love to hear about your experiences and any tips you have in the comments below. Let's support each other. Don't forget to like this video if it resonated with you, and subscribe for more content on building a life you love. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. For Maya, this means finding David's profile. The cursor hovers over the mute button. Her stomach does a little flip. It feels stupid. It feels childish. It feels like she's playing a game. That's the resistance talking. That's the part of her that's addicted to the slot machine lever, whispering, "But what if he posts something important? What if he's out with friends? What if you miss something?" The fear isn't about missing a post. The fear is about losing her sense of connection, her line into his world. Without it, she feels untethered. She takes a breath that smells like subway air and coffee. She presses mute. Then she goes to their text thread, presses down, and selects archive. The chat disappears from her main view. It's a simple, clean, digital gesture. The physical feeling is immediate. It's not relief, not yet. It's a strange, light emptiness, like she just put down a heavy bag she didn't realize she was carrying. The resistance doesn't stop there. It's clever. At 10:15 a.m., sitting at her desk, with her matcha latte, her finger itches. It literally tingles. Her brain screams, just a quick peek, just to see if he's posted a story. It rationalizes. Maybe he posted something about work that I could use as a conversation starter later. This is the exact neural pathway begging for its fix. It feels like a magnetic pull from her phone to her hand. She gets up. She walks to the office kitchen. She gets a glass of cold water and drinks the whole thing, feeling it travel down her throat and settle in her stomach. She looks out the window at the New York skyline, the countless windows holding countless other stories. She doesn't check her phone. The first win is almost invisible. It happens at 1:30 p.m. She's in a brainstorming meeting about sustainable packaging. Her colleague is talking about compostable adhesives, and for a full uninterrupted 7 minutes, Maya is fully there. She's thinking about glue, not about David, not about his texts, not about what he's doing. She is present. It's a microscopic victory, but in the economy of your attention, it's a fortune. The evening is harder. This is when they usually text. The silence of her phone feels loud and judgmental. She microwaves a Trader Joe's meal, and the hum of the appliance is the only sound. She feels lonely. The old habit whispers, "See? This is what happens. You're alone. You should just text him, 'Hey.' Then at least you'll have someone to talk to." This is the core of the lie, that a crumb of connection is better than this temporary aching quiet. But she doesn't. She calls her sister in Boston instead. They talk about their mom's garden plans. She hears real laughter, her own, echoing in her apartment. It's not the same as romantic validation, but it's real. It's a solid brick, not a wisp of smoke. She goes to bed early, placing her phone face down on the nightstand, charging in the living room. She hears the muffled city sounds through the window. A car horn, a distant siren. She feels the cool cotton of her pillowcase. She falls asleep faster than she has in weeks. Day 2. Saturday. This was always a maybe day. Her brain has a schedule, and it expects a check-in. The urge hits her like a wave when she wakes up. She fights it by getting out of bed immediately, putting on her running shoes, and hitting the pavement along Prospect Park. The cold March air bites her cheeks. She hears the rhythmic slap of her own feet, the sound of her own breath. She sees other people running, dogs playing, life happening. She runs for 30 minutes, and with every step, she is literally putting distance between her old patterns and her body. The second win comes that afternoon. She's at a coffee shop in Park Slope, reading a novel. A notification pops up on her watch. It's a generic news alert. But for a split second, her heart jumps. The old wiring is still there. But this time she notices it. She sees the jump for what it is, a ghost of a feeling. And then it passes. She sips her oat milk latte, tastes the bitterness and the sweetness, and goes back to her book. The feeling passes. That's the win. The realization that the anxiety is a wave, and you can let it crash over you and then recede. You don't have to drown in it. At 8 p.m. on Saturday night, the 48 hours are up. She doesn't rush to unmute him. She just sits with the quiet. She realizes something profound. The world did not end. He did not call panicking. Her life did not fall apart. In fact, she had a clear Saturday. She ran, she read, she talked to her sister. She didn't waste a single hour waiting. This feels trivial, right? It feels so small. Muting someone for 2 days. That's it? That's the big exit plan? Yes, that's exactly it. Because this is where 95% of people quit. They want the big, dramatic, movie moment breakup. They want to send the perfect, scathing text and feel that rush of power. But that rush fades, and often it just leaves a bigger hole. The real work is much quieter. It's in the mundane daily decision not to feed the obsession. It's rebuilding your attention muscle, one rep at a time. What Maya did in those 48 hours was create a crack of daylight. She proved to herself, in a tiny way, that she could survive the withdrawal. She could tolerate the quiet. And in that quiet, she heard the faintest whisper of her own voice again. Not the voice that was strategizing about him, but the voice that wanted to run in the park. The voice that was curious about compostable glue. The voice that missed her sister. Are you tired of being stuck in a situationship? That constant state of maybe, of almost, of not quite. You're not alone. For just 48 hours, you're going on a digital detox from them. No checking their socials, no rereading old texts. It's an experiment. Can you exist without their frequency buzzing in your ear? The resistance will be loud, but on the other side is a powerful truth. You are still you, even when you're not thinking about them. That's the person who's ready to build a real exit plan. Okay, you've survived the 48-hour pause. You've felt that strange mix of emptiness and quiet power. Step 1. The asset. Audit. This sounds corporate, but it's brutally personal. Seeing it in writing can sting, but it's real. It turns that vague cloud of emotion into a simple list of services you've been outsourcing your happiness to. No delays. If you need weekend plans, don't wait for a friend to call. Go online and book a ticket to a lecture or a class for yourself. For physical intimacy and feeling desired, book a deep tissue massage or wear your favorite outfit just because it makes you feel amazing. And for the idea of someone, practice saying the sentence, "I'm focusing on myself right now, and it's really rewarding." Say it until you believe it. Step 3. The script and send. This is the big one. It's time to communicate your decision. But this isn't a text written in the heat of emotion. For example, I've really valued our time together. I've done some thinking and I realize I'm looking for something that's moving toward a committed partnership. I don't think we're on the same page, so I need to step back. I wish you all the best. There's no door left open, just your truth stated plainly. The moment you press send will feel terrifying. That's the point of no return. Step 4. The purge and reward. The script is sent. Now you must sever the digital tether. Immediately after sending that text, delete the thread. Go to their social media and hit unfollow. You don't have to block them. Just remove the source of temptation from your daily view. It will feel final, maybe even a little harsh. But then comes the crucial part. The immediate reward. You must flood your senses with a positive input you've prepared ahead of time. Have a perfect, expensive piece of chocolate ready. Unwrap it. Let it melt on your tongue and focus only on that sensation. Step 5. The re-anchor ritual. This is your daily maintenance. For the next 2 weeks, before you even look at your phone in the morning, spend 5 minutes with a notebook. Write down 3 things you are building for yourself. Not about them, not about dating. Maybe it's a career goal, a fitness milestone, or even just noticing a new leaf on your plant. This ritual re-anchors your identity in your own projects and your own growth. You are the main character of your story again. This isn't about erasing someone. It's about rebuilding your world so that you are at the center of it. It takes work, but your peace of mind is worth the effort. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on building a life you love.
Setbacks are not just possible, they're guaranteed. For Maya, it happens on day 4. A mutual friend posts a group photo from a rooftop party. David is in it, in the back, smiling. It feels like a punch to the solar plexus. The old anxiety surges, the what if I made a mistake? He looks happy without me, this is the test. The old way was to spiral for 3 days. The new way is to acknowledge the feeling, set a timer for 15 minutes, feel it fully, and then actively choose a substitution. She calls the friend from step 2, the one she bought the lecture ticket with. She doesn't even have to talk about David. She just talks about the beekeeping lecture, about how honey is basically bee vomit. They laugh. The spiral stops. The setback lasted 15 minutes, not 3 days. That is monumental progress. This is where doing it alone versus with support makes all the difference. White-knuckling in your apartment is a brutal, lonely battle. But telling one trusted friend, I just ended it, I might be a mess, can I text you if I feel weak? Changes the chemistry of the struggle. It's no longer a shameful secret. It's a project you have a partner on. A simple voice note from that friend saying, I am proud of you for sticking to your plan, can be the rope that pulls you out of a low moment. Now, let's track the progress visually. Not in feelings, but in evidence. A timeline. Asterisk, 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 day 1. Asterisk, asterisk, script sent. Phone in drawer. Chocolate truffle. Asterisk, 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 day 3. Asterisk, asterisk, first full, dreamless 8-hour night of sleep. The kind where you wake up and the pillow is cool on your cheek. Day 7. Asterisk, asterisk, said yes to a group hike in Cold Spring with people from work. Spent a whole hour on the train not thinking about her phone. Day 14. Asterisk, asterisk, saw a guy at a coffee shop who reminded her of David. Felt a twinge, then ordered her drink and forgot about it by the time she added sugar. The thought was a guest, not a tenant. Asterisk, 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 day 30. Asterisk, asterisk, her friend mentioned his name in passing. Maya realized she had to consciously recall his face. The emotional charge was gone. Neutrality. A study from 2025 found that people who ritualize the end of a chapter with a specific purge and a specific reward report 65% lower rates of painful longing 1 month later. The brain needs a clear event to process as an ending. The text, the delete, the chocolate, that was Maya's ceremony. Imagine a split-screen time-lapse of this month. On the left side, the phone screen. The daily screen time reports on social media apps going down, down, down. The battery lasting longer. On the right side, Maya. Her posture is straighter walking to the subway. She makes more eye contact with the barista. She laughs from her belly during a comedy podcast. The light in her eyes isn't from a phone reflection. It's from within. This process isn't about becoming someone who never misses him. It's about becoming someone who chooses herself, consistently, daily, even when it's hard. The war is won in those tiny battles, choosing the massage over stalking his profile, choosing the journal over the junk text, choosing the quiet certainty of your own company over the loud drama of uncertain company. You are not just leaving a person, you are leaving a version of yourself that accepted crumbs. You are building a version of yourself that owns the whole bakery. And every single step of this plan, no matter how small, is you placing a brick in the foundation of your new, unshakable home. You've created all this space. Now, let's see what's destined to grow in it. It's a bright, clear morning in early May, and Maya is walking across the Brooklyn Bridge. The East River below is a sheet of wrinkled, blue-gray silk, and the Manhattan skyline rises up in front of her like a city of dreams. But she's not looking at her phone. She's not even wearing headphones. Her hands are tucked into the pockets of her leather jacket, and she's feeling the cool, steady breeze coming off the water. She can hear the rhythmic thrum of car tires on the bridge deck below, the chatter of tourists, the cry of a seagull. She takes a deep breath, and the air tastes like salt in spring. This is the new normal. It's not a dramatic, movie-ending scene with a new lover waiting on the other side. It's something quieter and, in its own way, more powerful. It has the feeling of being the only person you need to be accountable to on a Saturday morning. It's the ownership of your own time, your own attention, your own peace. Let's talk about results. Not vague feelings of being happier, but tangible, measurable benefits. Remember the asset audit? We calculated what the situationship was costing. Now let's look at the ROI of leaving it. Researchers call it the reclaimed hours, the average situationship. They found consumes about 12 hours of mental and emotional labor per week. That's the time spent thinking about them, strategizing texts, analyzing their behavior, venting to friends, recovering from vague plans falling through. 12 hours. That's a part-time job. Where did those 12 hours go for Maya? In the 6 weeks since she sent that text, they've been redirected. She used 4 of those hours each week to finally take the online UI/UX design course she debookmarked a year ago. She spent 3 hours visiting her cousin upstate, walking through apple orchards that were just beginning to bloom. She dedicated 1 hour every Sunday to planning her meals so she wasn't grabbing sad, expensive salads at her desk. The remaining 4 hours, she simply rested, she took naps. She sat in a park with a book. She let her mind be still. Her work presentations became sharper, more creative, because her brain wasn't perpetually exhausted from an emotional side hustle.